My name is Derek Applegate. I'm the building official for the City of Venice. My first priority is to enforce the state of Florida building codes and local ordinances. I'm also the floodplain administrator, so that's responsible for implementing and enforcing the community's floodplain management regulations. So if you were here for Christina's presentation, you saw a little bit about that as well. So we have the higher regulatory standards that we enforce. She brought up my favorite topic, air conditioners. And then, of course, the rebuilding process that we go through inside the City of Venice. So some of the things we're going to talk about, so my overview is real simple. Things that we do, and I'm going to talk about things that we do as a building department and a municipality prior to the storms, and then things that we do after the storms. So the stuff that we do that's directly related to the building and the assessments of buildings. Things we do before the storm. The first thing, and I see Lorraine is here as well. So she's been a huge advocate. She's kind of worked me into this process now. This is not my favorite topic, and this is not my favorite thing to do. I'm not a good public speaker, but I've gotten used to it. I've probably done 100 of these since in the last 8 months. So I'm getting much better at it. Thank you to her and Brianne. They've made me a much better speaker about this stuff. But we do these things to put this information out. So we put out, you've seen James and myself give these little things that she pushes out through the social media platforms, where we talk about damage assessments or FEMA paperwork, or how do you get to your evacuation zones? Do you need to go to a shelter? All these things that we kind of prep everybody for. So we do the public information push outs. We do a permitting if we do suspend permits, which if we ever did suspend it, that'd be a first for me. But we do advertise the changes, so as council directs us on what they want us to do, what the presentation that they want us to push out for the permitting section, we try to put that out as early as possible. We also do safe construction and practices before the storm. So, so the building team, we go out every job that we have that's ongoing. We try to go out and visit each one of these places. We talk about safe storm preparations, take down your fences. If you have any high storage or equipment, get those stored, put them in we don't want a lot of loose debris on the site. Take care of your porta-johns, get all that stuff on your construction site, put it inside the buildings in a safe and secure location so that it doesn't end up in somebody else's neighborhood. Guidelines for securing the job sites, again, access to the properties, taking fences down, doing stuff like that. And then, of course, we share the FEMA and local emergency management contact information. We catch a lot of the FEMA information, so we push a lot of that stuff out. We've got teams that are next door. They have handouts for the FEMA contacts and who you should contact. And then, obviously, we are a big advocate for that, and we'll help you with any of that information. We do it before the storms so that you know that it's there, and we do it after the storms as well. And like I said, so a lot of our residents, they like these in-person confrontations. So we do, we're located at City Hall. You can come in through the Venice Avenue side or the other sides and come into the building department. They put it out on the public information stuff. I know a lot of the Facebook feeds and stuff like that, but they take care of that information on all of our social media sites. We coordinate with contractors and residents on job sites. We give instructions on how to prepare that site from the loose material and remove the scaffolding and temporary structures. We work with Frank, the emergency manager, on what the expectations are of us from the damage assessment protocols. We practice these routines on a normal basis. We're getting ready to go into our busy season, so we'll start coordinating with Sarasota County. We do a lot of interlocal training with them to assess equally across. So the stuff that we see, we want it to be consistent with what Sarasota County puts out at the same time. We're getting ready to start our damage assessment protocols. So we have programs that we use internally to help track the information that we push out through through the PIO, so that you guys get a good and fair assessment of what we're doing. It gets reported up to the Sarasota County Emergency Management System, but it also helps us report this information to the local residents. I have some slides that'll show some of the stuff that we do with that, and then the emergency response plans. So everybody in our department, they have specific roles. We plan for emergency permitting in places unfamiliar to us, so we can set up in a parking lot, we can set up in a Publix, we can set up just about anywhere, and then we push that information out about where we're at. It's not just about the permits, but it's about how to get in contact with the building department. They always want to find out where we are and how we can be reached. So after the storm passes, some of us stay here, are required to stay in the EOC so that we have the real live information. But our teams are here. So as soon as it's safe for them to come back into the city, we start the damage assessment. So as quickly as we can get in, we try to start that process. We want to be the first ones out there. We go right after the TFIT teams release it to where we can go out and get our boots on the street. We test and evaluate these homes. Like I said, it's for if it's habitable, if it's safe to occupy, limited use, and I've got some slides that'll show this stuff, but it goes exactly like we saw earlier. We use the green, yellows, and reds. They'll identify. So if you come home, if you leave, if you evacuate and you come home and you see one of these colors on your house, it means we've been there. And those are the identifiers that'll say, hey, and we leave our contact information on there as well, but we are constantly out in these areas after the storm. We spend a little over 6 weeks every single day walking and canvassing the exact same areas. The ones that were mostly impacted or heaviest impacted, we were out there for about 6 weeks. So we track how our activities and the assessment program on a program called Crisis Track. And this is just a little small screenshot of how that process works. So you see there's 4 different colors in there. Those are people that have walked those areas. And the colors represent different people. So you've got a blue, you've got a purple, gold, and there's a brown in there. So that's different people that have walked those same areas. And this is during, I think this was after Helene. And this is on the north end of the island. That's the jetties, the villa jetties up there. And so we've been to these places multiple times. Each one of the little circles identifies what we classified the level of damage at. So you see some of them are red, and it's not accurate, but some of them are yellow and some of them are orange. That helps us assess. And we get this information real time back in the Emergency Operations Center, so we can focus and tell people like Frank where we see the most heavily impacted areas at. And it follows some of the stuff that Christina was showing earlier with the flood maps. So this is one of those areas that was in the blue. This is the AE8. So we expect these areas to be heavier impacted, and it follows the same information that we see on our flood maps. The second part that we do during our assessments is the high water marks. This one's on the inside of the house, and this home was obviously not occupied at the time, but you'll see a bunch of our staff running around, taking photographs, asking permission to come in to see this stuff so that we can document this stuff. It tells us what happened to the structure, and we also have to report this information up. So it's important for us to be there to take these photographs, and we do this is right after the event. This is another picture. This is on the north end of the island. It talks about a little bit, like Frank were talking about, how the sand blows in. So this particular unit, the sand, you could crawl in there, but it went all the way to the front door. It was there was a lot of sand. The level of damage was pretty. I mean, the doors were gone, but the level of damage was actually not as bad as it looks. Here's the placards that we use. Same as we were talking about before, the green is a good one, so it means it's been inspected and it's safe to enter. The yellow is restricted use, so it's still safe to enter, but we wouldn't allow you to stay there overnight, so you don't really want you to stay there for any length of time. And then obviously the red, it's got some bigger challenges in front of it, so we don't want you to go in there. And like I said, there's some information in there about contacts, how you can get a hold of myself or some of the people that work in the building department, and how we can help you get access to that unit if you need to. So I'm in the EOC during and after the event. So we support the emergency operations of the EOC management. We report this information up to FEMA at the state level. So we report to Sarasota County. Sarasota County reports it up to the state. We do the same thing with our surrounding communities. We have interlocal agreements that if something happens to us and we need help, we can contact them, and if they need help, we can dispatch some of our people to work with them as well. Kind of helps everybody get this. The people. People is the hardest part. Finding qualified people to do assessments. It's a dying field. There's not a lot of those people now, so we kind of pool our resources and we can send people just about anywhere. So we had some stuff that happened up in the Panhandle that we could send our people to, and they can work anywhere in the state. Permits. We can issue emergency repair permits for stabilization work. So if you see one of those red placards on your house, there's not anything we really want you doing until you come and see us, and we can talk to you about that. The yellow ones, we can do some emergency repairs and get stuff started. So you saw there were 4 different people that went through those. So as we continue to do these inspections, we do more and more detailed inspections. So as people start to return home after the event, they're going to call us or they want us to come back out. Like I said, we spent 6 weeks in these neighborhoods immediately after the storm walking this. So a lot of the people who were impacted know all of the people in our staff because we were out there every single day. And let's see, what else? We also, after we issue these permits, we guide and monitor the recovery construction. We enforce the current building codes, including the flood management stuff, or floodplain management stuff, during the reconstruction to ensure resilient building, rebuilding, and provide technical guidance. The resilient building, so as a floodplain administrator, we try to focus on that. How do we make things bigger, better, stronger than we did the last time? So we take the opportunity to, and sometimes it's not a fair conversation, but we want to make it bigger and better, so we don't want to have to visit the same problem over and over and over again. So we make improvements after every single event. The final thing is we track and report this data. So, and this is still going on. This is our life. Right now, we do this, and we sent a report yesterday back to FEMA. So we've gone past the initial assessment parts of it, and they're auditing us now. So I've met with FEMA 4 times. So that's every other month. They've been here in person, and now they're at the auditing part. So they will give us, this time they gave us 5 random addresses and said, what happened here? And they're looking at us to find out what kind of information we can provide. Did we do our jobs accurately? Going back to the stuff that Christina talked about, she was a little modest. We went from a 6 to a 5. So for such a small community to have a CRS rating of 5 is a good thing. It shows a 25% discount on our insurance. We work hard to keep those things. So it's important, and she didn't even bring that up. We got that back in April. And again, we do the same thing after the event. We get with our PIO. Our people go out there. They're not going to answer site-specific questions. We leave that for myself or the people that do this floodplain management part every day. So we communicate every single time. Like I said, I've probably done 100 of these since September. Every HOA, every scattered lot, anytime we've had more than 5 or 10 people together, we've done these kind of presentations. And we've done a bunch of them. Some of the stuff, just like some of the other presentations, stay informed. Monitor the stuff on the news. Keep yourself informed of what it goes. When it's time to evacuate, leave. It's important that you evacuate. It's hard to do our jobs and do our jobs efficiently when we've got all of this other stuff going on. We care about personal safety, and we want everybody to be safe. So please evacuate. We're going to take care of it while you're gone. Make an emergency plan, know your evacuation zones, designate a meeting place, and like Christina said, don't forget your pets, it's important. These other ones, take pictures of your home and your contents before you go. I know they talked about it a little bit earlier, but on the damage assessment side, we're dealing with insurance companies or your insurance mitigation places, your adjusters. They don't have a big involvement in that. They just come in and they see this stuff and they go on about their business. And then Christina talked about flood insurance. You have to document this. So take good photographs. We fly drones over the city as well, but for your own protection, show the condition of your home before you packed up and left. Show that you protected your windows, you protected your doors, that you elevated everything that you could, you picked up all the stuff, and take care of it. Your important documents, don't leave them there. They're going to get, even if you put them in a firebox or a flood-proof box, they still can get damaged. Anything you can take during your evacuation, take that stuff with you because you're going to need it when you get back. You see this stuff. We're 8 months out from the last hurricane season, And we're still fighting with insurance companies for payments. We've got people that are not even started the recovery process yet, and we're getting ready to go into another season. And it's hard to bring the importance to that. Cover yourselves. And this was the same thing. We just take pictures of your stuff and contact your insurance companies. And I think that was it. I tried to build in a little bit of time for questions. Yes, sir.
This is softball. I'm the proud owner of a new tile roof as a result of Hurricane Milton. And during the permit process, the contractor is taking pictures and sending pictures into your department, I guess, for the permit process. So you've got detailed photos of kind of the buildup of the layers of my roof. Is there a way I can get a copy of that from you guys?
Sure. It's all public information.
Yeah. Well, great.
So we do view
I'll follow
specs.
up. Yeah. Thanks.
So we haven't done physical, well, I'm sorry, we do a little bit depending on the type of construction it is, meaning new construction versus old construction. We have a view specs program to where the contractors can take the photographs. There's about 11 or 12 items on the checklist that they give to us, but it's all information. You can leave your information in the back with one of the people in the back, and they'll be more than, Paul's raised his hand back there in the back. So if you'll meet with one of the team members back there, they'll be more than happy to get your contact information.